guys, K-Plays here. Today we had a ton of Sunbreak gameplay footage from a bunch of different content creators and gaming journalists with early access to the game. Of those, we got two that showed us a bit of hunting horn action to dig through for some details. Alex from Nintendo Life and the Japanese YouTuber Cha Cha Cha. I'll be going over their clips to point out some of the interesting details I found and also linking their videos in the description if you want to watch them in full. Without further ado though, let's begin. Starting off with the Nintendo Life footage, we finally get a full look at Lunagaron's horn. It's giving me heavy Lunagaron vibes, but it's seeming a bit more interesting than that one to me because of the song on the green note here, Sharpness Regeneration. Here I was hoping for horns with the Sharpness Use Reduce song, and then they dropped this in our laps? Completely changed my mind. After the tweet from the official Monster Hunter Twitter yesterday talking about additional kinsect mechanics for the insect glaive, I had some hopes that they'd do this something a little extra for the song mechanics for hunting horn as well. As far as I can see, everything seems to be working just like it was so far with no changes, but we can't really say for sure that nothing's changed yet, especially not with this confirmation of new songs. Getting back to that point, from what I can gather here is that as long as the song is active, your horn sharpens itself every 5 seconds. I don't know for sure exactly how many hits you get back each time it activates, but if it's more than you can manage to go through in 5 seconds, any horn with this song essentially has infinite sharpness. Even if it's not quite that strong, it'll still let you get a lot of use out of your sharpness bar. Really hoping we get some more songs like this, especially more instant use ones that we can rapid fire off with echo mode and beat of resonance. If there won't be much more added song mechanic complexity, I could work with at least having song effects with more active or technical uses. There's not a lot more we can pull out of hunting horn from this video though, since it's less about weapon demoing and more about talking about the game in general, so let's move on to Cha Cha Cha's footage. This time we've got a hunt with the Astalos hunting horn. On one hand, it's nice to see a returning design, but on the other, wind res, affinity up, and stamina aren't really making it look quite as good as it did before. It's horns like this that'll really benefit from the beat of resonance getting buffed, so we can throw attack up in there. Come on Capcom, you really know you should. But anyway, what I definitely appreciate here is the solid demonstration of Silkbind Shockwave. Based on this, we can build a decently workable understanding of how the move works. First, we can see that it costs 1 wire bug to use and the extra sound damage effect lasts roughly 30 seconds. That means that you want to be using this move pretty frequently, and you should be able to because it's relatively cheap on resources. You get your wire bug back after about 10 seconds, which is comparable to slide beat now, a Silkbind move you could pretty much use back to back if you really wanted to. This clears up a small worry I've seen people have that it'll eat into wire bugs you may want to keep ready for Earthshakers or other things. Second, the bursts themselves. These don't seem to be as simple as they originally looked. My first assumption was that only the physical hits with your actual horn would cause these delayed sound hits to appear, but it turns out that that isn't the case. Infernal Melody and the last hit of both the recital attacks and Earthshaker all get extra hits, so while this may act as a boost to your multi-hitting moves still that'll naturally apply more bursts, pretty much everything in your moveset benefits here. The added Wyvern Ride buildup on every move is a neat bonus here as well. More interesting and possibly more game-changing than that though is the fact that these seemingly do elemental damage too. Depending on the numbers, that could shake things up for hunting horn since we couldn't really utilize element before with our sound-based attacks being raw only. This seems to still be true for the other old ones, and an exception for this new ability specifically, but even if that's the case, we might be able to see Elemental Hunting Horn make a return after it unfortunately dropped out of effectiveness coming from Iceborne to Rise. This would make for a great improvement on our weapon choice variety compared to our current go high raw or go home meta. We can only hope. Circling back to the move itself though, well enough on our third point, its utility. Just like I was hoping it would, we now have clear evidence that this move can double as a counter. Well, sort of. Rather than being a true press this button to take no damage counter, it technically only allows you to ignore the effects of being hit, but it'll still work well enough as a quick emergency button or an answer to things like roars or wind pressure. This effect works hand in hand with some nice combo potential I hadn't even thought of. If your meter is charged, as soon as you land you can follow up with an Infernal Melody. This will be our fastest and most consistent path towards activating that buff moving forward, and the combo immediately starts dropping a bunch of extra bursts as icing on the cake. All that makes it a fitting switch skill for Slide Beat, which is our current go-to move for the same purposes. Between the two, Silkbind Shockwave deals less damage and gains less Infernal meter since it's just a single hit, but in exchange you get the sound burst ability and a shorter animation that doesn't throw you forward if that's not what you want to do at the moment. Neither seems outright better than the other, so if nothing else we'll definitely be using the switch skill swap for these. Whether we end up doing the same with our melody modes, switch skill normal moves, or other Silkbinds still remains to be seen. With all that said though, we're looking at some good things coming our way by the end of the month. With any luck, this isn't the end of it. We don't know if there will be any more good new songs, if there's still a mystery Silkbind hiding out there somewhere, and no good footage of the swing combo was shown in either gameplay video. Plus, there are still the tweaks to the rest of the moves and abilities that we know nothing about from that balance patch. From what we have gotten though, I'm pretty optimistic about what's still up in the air. We'll see if any more questions get answers in the upcoming weeks until Sunbreak releases, and if they do, I'll get right on sharing them with you as soon as I can as always. Secondhand gameplay is great and all, but if we had, say, a demo coming up, well, fingers crossed that we get that announcement soon, because I'd love to get some hands-on time with all our new tools. Let me know in the comments what you think about what we learned today, and if any of you read or speak Japanese, feel free to translate and share anything I might have missed in that second video. Until then though, this has been another K-Plays, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.